Alright, now that you already understand how Flutter works internally, today we are going to touch the most important practical piece of every Flutter app, the scaffold widget. And I'll say this very clearly. If you don't understand scaffold properly, your app structure will always feel messy. And if you understand it well, your UI will automatically become clean, scalable, and professional. Now, before we jump into code, let me explain you scaffold, like what is scaffold. Imagine you are opening a new shop. Before putting products, before adding decorations, or before adding cash counter, first you need the structure of the shop, right? You need walls, a roof, an entrance, space for shelves, and a counter. In Flutter, scaffold is that shop structure. It gives you where your app bar will live, where your body content will appear, where your bottom navigation will sit, where floating buttons will stay, and where drawers will slide from. Scaffold doesn't decide what you show, it decides where everything goes. Now let's start with the most basic Flutter app structure so you understand how scaffold fits inside everything. So here I have already opened this main.dart file, and from here I have cleared everything. So let's first add the main function, and then inside it here add the run app, and then add our class name. Let's say we are going to name it as my app. So add it my app. Now pause here. The main function is the entry gate of your app. That's I already told you. And this is where your app starts breathing. Run app pushes your entire widget tree onto the screen. Okay. Now let's create the my app. So here create a stateless widget called my app. Now here come inside the return, and here return the material app. So here we have added the material app because material app is responsible for providing theme, navigation, routing, fonts, and transition, the full material design power to our this widget. Okay. Now look carefully. Here we are going to add home property for this material app widget, and then here call the home screen. So this is where scaffold usually lives. Like this is the first screen of our application. So here we will add the scaffold. Now let's define the home screen. So again here create a stateless widget, and now let's call it as home screen, and now come inside the return method. Now from here we are going to remove everything, and here add the scaffold widget, and then for its body here add the center widget, and then for its child here add the text widget which will say hello scaffold. So up until now, we have added this material app which created the app environment for this application. And then here we have added the scaffold widget which created the screen layout structure. And inside that structure, we have placed our actual content, that is just a simple center body, right? Now, if you save this code and run the application, then you can see here we just have a text widget at the center. Now let's expand the scaffold properly, the way real apps use it. So here come inside the scaffold widget, and here let's add the app bar also. So here add the app bar property, then here add the app bar widget, and then for its title here add the text widget which will say widget wisdom, and then here add the center title property and make it to true. So the center title property will align our app bar's title to the center of the app bar. Okay. Now if you save the code, then you can see we have a app bar which say widget wisdom. Now let's also add a floating action button. So again inside the scaffold here add the parameter as floating action button, and then here add the floating action button widget. Okay. Now for on pressed, let it be empty as of now, and then for its child here add the icon widget, and then here add icons dot add. It's perfectly fine. Now if you save the code, then you can see now in our application we have a floating action button, we have a body, and we have a app bar. Apart from this, we can also add the bottom navigation bar and drawers. So let's also add the bottom navigation bar here. So again you can add the bottom navigation bar property, and then here add the bottom navigation bar widget, and then for its items let's add the two items. Like items is going to be collection of widgets, so here we need to add the array thing. So here add the square brackets, and then here add the bottom navigation bar item, and then for its icon here add the icon, then for icon let's add the home icon. So add that, and then for its label here add the home label. Now Again, copy this bottom navigation bar item and add it one more time, but this time change the icon to settings from home and change the label to settings. Now you can also add the drawer. So basically a drawer is the side menu. Like in the app bar, you have a button, and if user pressed onto this button, then a slide drawer is appear. So we can explore this thing in future videos. But as of now, you can see we have a app bar, we have a body, we have a floating action button, and we have the bottom navigation bar. So up until now, probably you have understood that Scaffold is just not a widget. Scaffold is a full page management system. Now, here is your first interview highlight. Listen carefully. If an interviewer asks, why do we use Scaffold in Flutter? Never answer to add a app bar. The correct answer always will be Scaffold provides a complete screen layout structure for material design apps, including app bar, body, floating button, drawers, snack bars, and bottom navigation. Now, let's talk about why Scaffold is so powerful structurally. So, Scaffold internally manages safe area spacing, keyboard overlapping issues, snack bar positioning, drawer animations, fab layering, and bottom navigation layout. If you try to manually build it all this without Scaffold, your app become unstable very quickly. Now let's take it to one step further with a real world code example with some user interaction. So here, let's convert this home screen to a stateful widget, and now come inside this state class and here create a counter variable, and then come inside this text widget, and from here remove this string and here add the counter, and then dollar sign and refer to this variable that is counter. And yeah, it's fine. Now come inside this floating action button, and here come inside this on pressed property, and here add the set state, and then increase the counter value by 1 whenever this button is pressed. It's perfectly fine. Now here observe carefully that what just happened. Now the scaffold created the layout, the body displays a number, the floating button updates the state, and the UI refreshes without rebuilding the entire app. This proves something very powerful. Scaffold does not control your state. Scaffold only controls where your state-driven UI appears. Like now, if you save this code and run the application, then you can see whenever I'm pressing onto this plus button, or let's say this floating action button, then our counter is getting increased. So basically, Scaffold provided a clean architecture for this application. Now let me tell you a real industry mistake many beginners make. They put multiple scaffold widgets inside each other. This breaks snack bars, drawers, fab positioning, and even navigation. Your rule should be simple. One screen is equals to one scaffold. You only use another scaffold if you are loading an entirely new full screen page. Now another interview highlight for you. If someone asks that can we use scaffold without material app, the technical answer is yes, but you will lose themes, animation, and routing context whatever material is providing you. So always remember, material app is app environment, scaffold is your screen structure, and body is your UI content. Now once you truly understand this pipeline, your apps stop feeling random and start feeling like a proper product. Now think of this way, that material app is the city, scaffold is your house, and body is your room. You never build furniture without a room, you never build a room without a house, and you never build a house without a city. So that's Flutter structure. By now probably you have understood that scaffold is not just a widget, it's the backbone of every professional Flutter screen. So drop a like, type scaffold here in the comment, and subscribe, because in the very next video we are going to make a proper discussion about containers in Flutter. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one.